You wake up in the morning, have your oatmeal, eat your salad for lunch, avoid fried foods, cut out soda, walk 3 times a week, and still, when you go back to the doctor, you hear those words that make your heart sink. The fatty liver is still there, the tests haven't improved, and in some cases, they've even worsened. You're left bewildered, feeling that deep frustration, that sense of helplessness because you're doing everything right, or at least that's what you were told was right, but your body doesn't seem to be responding. You look at your friends, your family, you see people eating worse than you and without any health problems, and you start to wonder if the problem is you, if your body is broken, if you're destined to live like this forever, carrying that silent fear that fatty liver will progress to something worse, to cirrhosis, to a transplant, to a fate you don't even want to imagine. And the worst part is that no one really explained what's happening. No one told you that eating healthy on its own isn't enough, that there's something much deeper going on inside your body, something that most people, and even many doctors, still don't fully understand. I need to tell you a truth that will completely change how you view fatty liver. And this truth comes from research recently published in the scientific journal Hepatology, one of the most respected in the world when it comes to liver health. Researchers followed over 1,200 patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease for 5 years, and what they discovered was shocking. 57% of people who followed a diet considered healthy, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, low in saturated fats, continued to have fatty liver. And in 23% of those cases, the condition worsened. That's right, worsened. Meanwhile, another group that made specific lifestyle changes I'll reveal to you shortly, managed to completely reverse fatty liver in 81% of cases. 81%. The difference wasn't in the amount of salad they ate or whether they avoided sweets. The difference was in something almost no one talks about, something the food industry doesn't want you to know, something that might be sabotaging all your efforts right now. My name is Dr. Ricardo Mendez, and I've been a hepatologist for 17 years. During all this time, I've seen thousands of patients with fatty liver, witnessed incredible recovery stories, but I've also seen many people suffer unnecessarily because no one explained to them that eating healthy isn't enough, that the human body is far more complex than just calories in and calories out. And today, I'm here to show you exactly what you need to do, based on the latest scientific evidence, to finally reverse fatty liver and truly regain your health. If you've made it this far, it's because you're tired of trying and not seeing results. You're tired of being told you need to lose weight, but don't know how. You're tired of living in fear of what might happen. And I want you to know that there is hope. There is a solution. And you are not alone on this journey. I created this channel precisely for people like you who want to go beyond what a doctor has time to explain in a 15-minute consultation, who want to understand what's really happening in their bodies, who want updated protocols based on real science, not fads or trendy diets. Every week, I bring you information that can save your liver, that can save you from cirrhosis, that can completely change your life. So subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell, because what I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes could be the turning point you've been waiting for. You deserve to live without fear, you deserve to have a healthy liver, and together we will achieve it. Let me tell you the story of Mariana, a 42-year-old patient who came to my office completely desperate. She had discovered she had fatty liver 3 years prior, and since then she had been doing everything they told her, cut out carbs, stopped eating red meat, filled her house with quinoa, chia, flaxseed, all those foods everyone says are super healthy. She went to the gym 5 times a week, took spinning classes, weight training, stretching, drank 2 liters of water a day, took vitamin supplements, practiced intermittent fasting, and still, when she had her follow-up ultrasound, her fatty liver had progressed from grade 1 to grade 2. Her liver enzymes were even higher, TGO at 87, TGP at 112. And her doctor had told her that if it continued like this, in a few years it could progress to steatohepatitis, which is when the liver starts to inflame, and from there, it's a short step to fibrosis and cirrhosis. Mariana cried in my office, told me she didn't know what else to do, that she was exhausted from trying, that she felt like her body was working against her, and that the worst part was the loneliness, not having anyone who truly understood what she was going through. Because to everyone else, she seemed fine, but inside, she carried immense fear. Now, I need to ask you a question, and I want you to be completely honest with me, because your answer might help thousands of people watching this video right now. Have you ever felt this same frustration that Mariana felt? Have you done everything right, followed all the advice, eaten healthy, exercised, and still the tests haven't improved? And when that happened, what thought went through your head? Was it discouragement? Was it the urge to give up? Was it that feeling that nothing you do is enough, that you're stuck in this situation forever? I know how hard it is to carry this alone, how distressing it is to look at the future and only see worsening, how painful it is to feel like your own body has betrayed you. So I want you to comment below. Use these words if you like. I have fatty liver, and I'm fighting to reverse it. Don't be ashamed. Don't hide. This is a space of support, of truth, of science applied to truly help you. When you comment, you're telling other people they're not alone. You're creating a support network, a chain of strength. Comment now. Because I read all the comments, I respond whenever I can, and your story matters. Your struggle matters. You matter. Now let's understand what's happening inside your body that makes eating healthy not enough. The core problem, and this is crucial for you to grasp, isn't just what you eat, but how your body processes it. When you have fatty liver, most of the time you also have insulin resistance, which is when your body's cells stop responding properly to insulin, the hormone that controls blood sugar. And here's the kicker that almost nobody tells you. When you have insulin resistance, even foods considered healthy can be sabotaging your liver. Let me explain it simply. You eat a piece of fruit, which everyone says is healthy, right? But if you have severe insulin resistance, that fruit will cause a spike in your blood glucose. Your pancreas will release even more insulin to try and control that glucose, but since your cells aren't responding well, the glucose just circulates. Your liver ends up converting that excess into fat, and voila, more fat accumulates in your liver. The same happens with whole wheat bread, breakfast cereals, natural juices, granola, honey, dates, agave, all those foods you think are your health's salvation. And there's more. When you have insulin resistance, your body goes into constant storage mode. It holds onto fat as if preparing for a famine. It can't burn fat efficiently. So, no matter how much you exercise, your metabolism is stuck. Mariana's story took a surprising turn when I realized her problem wasn't a lack of effort but a misguided approach. I completely changed the protocol. First, I ordered more detailed tests: glycated hemoglobin, fasting insulin, HOMA-IR index to measure insulin resistance, and a full lipid profile. The results confirmed it. Severe insulin resistance with a HOMA-IR index of 5. 2 when normal is below 2. 5. Second, I adjusted her diet not just to be healthy, but strategic. I drastically reduced all carbohydrates, even whole grains and fruits. I prioritized high-quality proteins, healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and nuts, and low-glycemic vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, and zucchini. Third, I changed her exercise routine, less prolonged cardio that elevates cortisol, and more strength training, which improves insulin sensitivity. Fourth, I incorporated a restricted eating window, not extreme intermittent fasting, but an 8-hour eating window, allowing her body periods of metabolic rest. And fifth, I added specific supplements: berberine to improve insulin sensitivity, high-dose omega-3 to reduce liver inflammation, natural vitamin E, NAC, N-acetylcysteine for liver protection, and magnesium, which most people with insulin resistance are deficient in. In just 3 months, Mariana returned to my office with completely different test results. Her TGO had dropped to 32, TGP to 41. Triglycerides, which were at 290, fell to 120. Her glycated hemoglobin went from 6.1 to 5.4, and the ultrasound showed a significant regression of fatty liver from grade 2 to grade 1. But you know what moved me the most? It wasn't the numbers, it was her tears when she told me that for the first time in years, she felt in control of her own health, that she was no longer held hostage by fear, that she woke up without that weight on her conscience, that she could look to the future with hope. She hugged me and said, "Doctor, you gave me my life back." And I told her what I'm telling you now. I didn't give it back. You took it back because you understood how your body works, because you had the courage to change, because you didn't give up. Now, you watching this, I want you to understand something very important. There are different levels of fatty liver, and each requires a slightly different approach. Grade 1 steatosis, where less than 33% of the liver is infiltrated with fat, usually responds very well to just dietary changes and exercise when insulin resistance isn't too advanced. Grade 2 steatosis, where between 33% and 66% of the liver has fat, already requires a more aggressive protocol with strict carbohydrate control, targeted supplementation, and sometimes even medication to manage insulin resistance. Grade 3 steatosis, over 66%, and especially when it has progressed to steatohepatitis, which is liver inflammation, needs very close medical supervision because the risk of progression to fibrosis is real and concerning. Let me tell you about Carlos, 55 years old, a type 2 diabetic for 8 years, with grade 3 fatty liver and early fibrosis. He came to me after his endocrinologist warned him that if he didn't reverse his condition quickly, he'd be a candidate for a liver transplant within a few years. Carlos was one of those patients who thought that because he was diabetic, he was already condemned. That fatty liver was just another problem on the endless list of diabetes complications. But when I explained to him that diabetes and fatty liver are deeply connected, that one feeds the other in a vicious cycle, but that this cycle can be broken, he decided to truly commit. We did everything I described before, but in his case, we added optimized dose metformin, not just to control blood sugar, but to improve liver function, and a low dose of pioglitazone, a medication that increases insulin sensitivity and has studies showing reversal of steatohepatitis. 6 months later, Carlos had lost 23 pounds, his fatty liver had regressed to grade 1, his enzymes were normal, his glycated hemoglobin dropped from 9.2 to 6.3, and a liver elastography showed that the fibrosis had not progressed, and in some areas had even regressed. Today, 2 years later, Carlos is completely different. He no longer takes insulin, only uses a low dose of metformin, lifts weights 4 times a week, and tells me at every appointment that he never imagined he could live with such quality of life at 57. See the pattern here. It's not about eating salads, it's not about cutting fat, it's not about doing cardio until you drop. It's about understanding the mechanism. It's about tackling the root of the problem, insulin resistance. It's about giving your body the right tools to heal. And these tools are strategic carbohydrate control, prioritizing those with a very low glycemic index, adequate protein to preserve muscle mass and increase satiety, good fats that don't spike insulin and are essential for hormones, strength training, which is the most effective for improving insulin sensitivity, quality sleep, because sleep deprivation increases insulin resistance by up to 30%. Stress control, because chronically elevated cortisol completely disrupts glucose metabolism and promotes visceral and liver fat accumulation, and targeted supplementation when necessary. A lot of people ask me, "Doctor, but what about fruit? Can I eat it or not?" The answer isn't a simple yes or no, it depends. It depends on your degree of insulin resistance, it depends on the type of fruit, it depends on the quantity, it depends on the context of the meal. If you have severe insulin resistance and grade 2 or 3 fatty liver, fruits high in fructose like mangoes, grapes, ripe bananas, and watermelon might be making your condition worse. Because fructose is metabolized mainly in the liver and in excess, it directly contributes to steatosis. In this case, it's better to prioritize low glycemic fruits like berries in small quantities, or even avoid fruits temporarily until your insulin sensitivity improves. Then, once your body responds better, you can reintroduce them in moderation. Another frequent question, Doctor, aren't whole grains better? Yes, they're better than refined grains, but if you have insulin resistance, even whole grains will significantly raise your glucose and insulin. Whole wheat bread, brown rice, whole wheat pasta, oatmeal, they all raise blood sugar just a bit slower than refined versions. For those with fatty liver, the ideal is to drastically reduce all carbohydrates in the initial phase, focus on leafy greens and proteins, and only then reintroduce small amounts of starchy vegetables like sweet potatoes, yuca, or grains like quinoa, always observing how your body responds. There's also the issue of refined vegetable oils that almost no one talks about. Soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, all these oils found in virtually all processed foods are rich in omega-6, which in excess promotes inflammation. And when the liver is inflamed, the progression from simple steatosis to steatohepatitis is much faster. So, besides cutting out sugar and reducing carbs, it's crucial to eliminate refined vegetable oils and prioritize extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, ghee, and high-quality lard. These are fats that don't promote inflammation. Now, about exercise, I need to tell you something that might surprise you. Recent studies show that strength training, like weightlifting, is much more effective at reversing fatty liver than prolonged cardio. Why? Because muscle is the body's biggest glucose consumer, so the more muscle mass you have, the more efficient your glucose metabolism becomes, and the more insulin sensitive you become. A study published in the Journal of Hepatology compared two groups. One did only moderate cardio, walking and running, 5 times a week, and the other did strength training 3 times a week. After 16 weeks, the weightlifting group had a 42% reduction in liver fat, while the cardio group had a 27% reduction, 42 versus 27, a huge difference. This doesn't mean cardio is useless. It means if you want results, you need to prioritize weight training. And it doesn't even have to be super heavy. You can start with body weight exercises like squats, push-ups, planks, and then progress to free weights or machines. Comment below if you've tried to reverse fatty liver with diet alone and didn't succeed, because I want to understand how many people are going through this, how many are frustrated, and be able to help more with targeted content. Also, comment your AST and ALT levels if you know them, because this helps me get a sense of liver health among channel followers, and I can bring you more specific videos on how to deal with very high enzymes. Let me give you a practical, step-by-step protocol for what to do starting today if you want to reverse your fatty liver. First step, get comprehensive lab work done, not just an ultrasound, but also AST, ALT, GGT, alkaline phosphatase, bilirubin, HbA1c, fasting insulin, HOMA-IR index, lipid profile with triglycerides and HDL, vitamin D, and if possible, a liver elastography to assess for fibrosis. Second step, adjust your diet by completely eliminating sugars, refined flours, refined vegetable oils, ultra-processed foods, and drastically reducing even whole carbohydrates, prioritizing quality proteins, good fats, and low glycemic vegetables. Third step, start or intensify strength training at least 3 times a week. You can do it at home, you can do it at the gym. The important thing is to create muscle stimulus. Fourth step, Sleep at least 7 hours per night, because sleep is when the body regenerates, when hormones balance, when insulin sensitivity improves. Fifth step, consider supplementation with good quality omega-3, at least 2 grams per day. Natural vitamin E if you have steatohepatitis, berberine or NAC if your doctor agrees, magnesium, which most people are deficient in. Sixth step, reevaluate in 3 months with new tests to see your progress and make adjustments as needed. Hi, I'm Sarah, 38 years old and a mom of 2. I came to see you after a routine checkup revealed had grade 2 fatty liver. I was devastated because I'm young, I don't drink, and I never thought I'd have liver problems. I explained that non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is becoming incredibly common, affecting nearly 30% of adults in Western countries, and that age is no guarantee against it. Sarah had the full metabolic syndrome: abdominal obesity, high blood pressure, high triglycerides, low HDL, and impaired fasting glucose. We started the protocol, and in 4 months, she lost 42 pounds. Her blood pressure normalized, triglycerides dropped from 300 to 110, HDL increased from 38 to 52, her fasting glucose normalized, and the ultrasound showed regression to mild grade 1 fatty liver. But you know what she said was the best part? Being able to play with her kids without getting winded, being able to wear clothes she hadn't fit into for years, and feeling like she was setting a healthy example for her children, teaching them to eat real food, to exercise, to take care of their bodies. If you have fatty liver, please give this video a like. It shows me the content is helpful, that you're committed to your health, and it motivates me to keep bringing you information that can literally save lives. And share this video with someone you love, with that family member who has diabetes, with that friend who's carrying extra weight, with that person you know is suffering in silence but doesn't know where to start. Sharing knowledge is an act of love. It's reaching out a hand to someone who needs it. To sum up everything we've discussed, eating healthy alone isn't enough, because the problem isn't just what you eat, but how your body processes what you eat. If you have insulin resistance, which is extremely common in people with fatty liver, even healthy foods can be working against you. The solution lies in tackling insulin resistance through strategic carbohydrate control, adequate protein, healthy fats, strength training, quality sleep, stress management, and supplementation when necessary. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's not about a miracle diet, it's about understanding your body and giving it what it needs to heal. Fatty liver is reversible in the vast majority of cases, but you need to act now, because the longer you wait, the higher the risk of progression to inflammation, fibrosis, and cirrhosis. In the next video, I'll discuss the silent signs that your fatty liver is progressing to steatohepatitis, signs that most doctors don't mention, but that you need to know to act before it's too late. So, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and don't miss this content that can make all the difference in your life. Take care of your liver, take care of your health. Take care of yourself, because you deserve to live well, live with energy, live without fear. See you in the next video, and remember, you are not alone, and together we will win this battle.